Hey guys, Jason from Quick Wash Laundromats here on the Laundromat build. I did not do a video last week, so this is week 17, 18, and we're kind of, we're just working through all the detail work the last couple of weeks. So visually, there's not a huge difference, but I'll flip the camera around and we'll just walk through some of the bigger points of what we did in the last couple of weeks. So this wall is almost complete. I have a little bit of wood trim work around that ducting to finish up, but we now have our Laundroworks card system in place. We have all of our card readers installed on our machines. So Chris Schultz and the guys from Midwest Laundry were here, I believe, not this week, it was the week before, so week 17. And installed that, knocked it out in a day, got everything up and running, actually less than a day. The system was really quite easy to install and very painless. So we got that going. We got our ATM machine installed. The build machine was there, and obviously the wall is starting to look a little more complete. We also worked on the programming of the machines. With the touchscreens, you can add like a display message. And some people will put their store name right there, and what I like to do is put the size of the machine and the price. And then once you hit ready to wash, it'll kind of go through some different settings, and we can add pre-wash, extra rinse, and increased water level. And there's different prices for each of those on this machine. So if somebody wants to see more water, we can add that there, and that increases the price. With the Laundroworks card system, what's kind of neat is I kept asking Chris from Midwest Laundries, I'm like, hey, do we got to put decals on here that show what number machine it is? And well, it turns out it's all right on the reader. So select cycle washer number 1. So it's pretty simple. Literally all you do is you put your card on there, and it'll let you know what your balance is on the card. And you can go ahead and hit start, and it'll subtract that balance right from your card. Super easy system to use. We continued on our security system install this week, so you can see a keypad there in our secure room, and then as I step into the attendant area, you can see another keypad. So there's an alarm system just for the attendant area, and then there's an alarm system just for the room that has our change machines or card machines that we have in there, and then we have a keypad for the main store. You'll also notice that we have card readers installed. So each locked door inside and outside of the building has a card reader. And what we can do, just to kind of give you a little peek inside the security room there, we can give permissions with these card readers. So employees will get a card reader to get themselves in the building if the doors are locked outside, or to get themselves into the attendant area, which will lock down after each shift. If for some reason we have a gap in between shifts, they'll close that roll down gate, lock the door, next shift comes in, beeps themselves in. If for some reason they forget a key fob at home, I can beep them in remotely from my phone. If for some reason an employee no longer works for us and they don't turn in the fob, I can simply turn off that fob, so I don't have to worry about them having a store key or anything and coming back in the future, or have to rekey all the locks or anything like that. So we can give certain permissions. I can have my HVAC guy can have a fob that just gets him to certain areas. Attendants can have a certain fob. People with, like a general manager or somebody can have access to everything, or myself. So that's one of the security features that we have built into our store. As I make my way across the 80 and 100 pound washers here, a couple things I want to point out. For one, that really cool skateboard chair, check that out. So yeah, I do love to put like 80s skateboards in my laundromat, so eventually I'll be getting those up on the walls. But we got our air curtains installed. So we had to do an air curtain or a vestibule, which is basically, so you're walking from the exterior doors into a room, and then you're going through another set of doors. And just to kind of conserve the space inside the laundromat, we could add air curtains instead of adding a vestibule. It's a much more cost-effective way to go. It kind of serves the same purpose. So also we got our vending machines. So those were set up this week. They're all ready to go. We just need to program them and load them up with stuff. The water heaters are installed. Everything is plumbed and all the gas lines are ran. So a big thing this week too is we got our, the gas meter's been installed for quite some time, but we finally got the hookup made and all the gas pipe run. One problem that we had though when we fired up our water heaters is all of a sudden we sprung a leak, and you can see some of the water on the ground there. So the plumber's coming back today to fire these back up again and just kind of figure out where our leak is. You can see the fan that we had installed per code that is over our little floor sink right there. I started putting together some of our folding tables this week. My schedule's been a little crazy lately, so I've been a little behind on that, but we're slowly getting that. So I do a combination of 8-foot tables, 6-foot tables, and 4-foot tables, or at least that's what we did here. The 8-foot tables I do not put an upper shelf on, and people really like those. I put them back to back just like they are. Obviously we'll space them out more. And there's a white protective coating on there to protect the stainless at the moment. But people love to use that for comforters. They'll lay a comforter out or their sheets and take up 2 big tables like that, and it just helps them fold it. Or if they just have a ton of laundry, they'll take up 2 big tables like that. So I found that that's been really useful. And then the smaller, these are 2 4-foot tables. We'll separate these a little bit, and then we'll also put a shelf on the top, a little 12-inch shelf. I think it's 10 or 12 inches that sits right on the top there. More like your standard laundry table, but this is a stainless steel version. And then we'll have some tables on the end of these bulkheads that we'll be placing out here because we have a lot of room here. Like, it's a really, really wide aisle, so we can put some of the folding tables in there. And that'll kind of fill up our designated folding area. So this week we are working on our gas piping install, and we finally got our natural gas all connected, running, leak checked, everything's all good there. We also are working on the connections for our electronic louvers. So we have little thermostats that are up on our ductwork, and when those warm up, they hit a certain temperature. I believe it's 90 degrees. It sends a charge to one of the 4 sections of louvers here, and then we'll open it up. And then as dryers are running, the more dryers that are running, the more louvers that are open. Obviously, if they're all on, all the louvers will be open. And then when the temperature in that ductwork drops below 90 degrees, louvers close. We also got our bulkheads. The bulkheads were installed, but we got the covers for the bulkheads and the ends of the bulkheads installed a couple weeks ago. So in I think it was week 17. I'm getting lost now, but let me just open the door here. One cool thing that we do with our bulkheads, it's something we did differently this time actually, is we added LED lighting. So now it's a little easier to see in there because people unfortunately drop stuff in there, or there's something way down at the end that's eventually going to clog your drain. So it's nice to have that lighting, and it's a nice deep trough so I can walk in there quite easily and get that taken care of. So that is our bulkhead. This is my first experience having a card store. A little history lesson here. In the state of Wisconsin, where I am located, sales tax, for whatever reason, if you paid cash on a machine, you did not have to charge the customer sales tax. If you used any sort of credit card or a card system of any type, then you had to charge the customer sales tax. About 8 to 10 years ago, they changed that law, but not a lot of laundromats have converted. So pretty much most laundromats, it's got to be 95% of them are coin in the state of Wisconsin because of that law. And then a lot of places just haven't changed over. So this is my first card store. First store was all quarters, second store was all quarters, and app. We added pay range at that one. Third one, we went all Speed Queen. That was the brand new build. And then we used the Speed Queen app along with dollar coins and quarters. And then we have a payment center where you can use a credit card. This time, just because coins are really becoming a pain in the ass, we decided to go all cards. So this is, obviously you can use cash or you can use credit. But they load their card, they simply tap that card on the machine. You guys know how it works. It's really simple. There's no coin boxes to collect. I'm hoping from a management standpoint, as I am adding locations, it just creates a much more manageable situation where you have to worry a little less about skimming and stuff like that if we do have a general manager at some point, we hire somebody to do our collections. Okay guys, that's a wrap on week 18, and right now it's just a matter of finishing all the final details, getting the furniture put together, getting it in place. We still got to do the final cleaning throughout the store, hiring staff, we have to work on that a little bit more, loading the vending machines, just kind of getting all the little things going. All our signage we got to get inside, our inside signage, we have some decals we're putting on the windows, all that little finished work before we can open up. And we still have on the outside of the building, I still have to get my landscaping, I have to have the lot sealed, I have to have the lot striped, we still have a decorative fence that we have to install. Those are things that won't delay our opening if we don't have those done in time. But they're things I'd like to have finished. I really would like to present a final finished product when we start having customers walk in the door. But also holding costs are expensive, so we may just we'll see where we're at when we get to that point. So we may be a week or 2 or 3 away from opening. It all just depends how fast we can get all these final details done. We still have to test run everything, but now that we have our natural gas on, we're heating, we'll be heating water soon once we figure out where that leak is, and we can start test running some of our washers and making sure that everything is going well with them. But we're getting there, guys, one step at a time. A little slower than I want because it looks like a finished laundromat, but it's not quite there. But we're almost finished. So hopefully it looks more completed after the end of next week. We'll see you guys.